subscribers. Turn up. Okay, this is the first Testimony Tuesday and it is a big one. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy because God is so good. Oh my goodness. It's still surreal what I'm about to tell you guys. It doesn't make sense. I don't deserve it, but that is the best part about God's favor. This is God's favor. When I tell you I've never experienced anything like this in my life. Whew. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Hallelujah. I worship you. This might be a praise break video, okay? Anyway, so about a month ago, I was at a service and I said, okay, God, I give up my plan B. Because plan A was always do what God wants you to do. My plan B was move to New York, model. Because what my degree is in is actuarial science and I don't want to be an actuary. So I said, God, I don't know what I want to do, but everything, what else I'm good at is modeling. So I want to model. And I want to preach about your word. So my plan was always to model, get big as a model, and then use that platform to talk about God so I can reach thousands and thousands of people. So that was my plan for myself. And I said, God, I give up my plan B. Why would I make a plan B? Obviously that was plan A, because why would I make a plan B, right? For God's plan. If God's plan was plan A, why would I say I need a plan B? Because God can't fail. So first of all, I was wrong in that respect. But anyway, so yes, I gave that up. Throughout that time, leading up to the testimony I'm about to tell you guys about, God was just asking me to do different things. He told me to wake up at 5 a.m. and pray. Like 5 a.m. drive to a certain location and pray for about 14 days. He told me to fast for 7 days for this thing or whatever. And these are things that I did. He asked me to let go of modeling and I said, okay, God, I give you modeling, which meant I wasn't allowed to take on new projects. I said I'll finish out some of the projects that I've already committed to because people have put money into these projects, so I will do them. Yeah, that was hard for me because a lot of my identity was tied up in modeling. So if anybody who knows me outside of YouTube knows that that's what I do. Look at my Instagram. I actually deleted all the pictures off of my main account, but on my model account you can see all of that stuff. So I'll put that in the description as well. I usually put my regular Instagram in the description. Anyways, I let that go. I was obedient to God and I let that go. So I believe God did this to honor my obedience, and whether he did that for that reason or not, it doesn't matter. He showed me favor and I am forever grateful. I'm just gonna turn my volume off on my phone. So I went to class. This is my 8 a.m. class. I went to class, and the funny thing is, while I was going to class that day, I said, you know what, why do I keep going to this class at 8 a.m. I could just skip this class some days and I'll be fine. I'll just get the PowerPoints from offline, because I've had this professor before. I would dress up just like this, full on makeup, full beat. Like when I say eyeshadow, because I don't even really go to class. I don't really go out. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to take the time to really beat my face for class, because that's the only place I really go out. And I would dress up, you know, images. I'm repping today. Anyway, 1985, turn up. It's a modeling troupe if you don't know. So yes, modeling is a big part of my life. But anyway, so I would dress up, go to class. So this particular day, the CEO and a recent FSU grad that works for the company that I'm talking about came to my class to give a presentation. And it was cool, you know, whatever. And this was on a Tuesday. So that Friday, I get an email from the coordinator of that put the whole thing together. And she says, oh, the CEO is interested in you. And I'm like, I emailed her back and I'm like, is this a mass email? And she's like, no, he was interested in you in particular. I said, oh, okay. So I get in contact and I'm like, hey, da 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 da. Obviously, I'm not this informal, but I formally put, hi, I heard you're interested in me. What's up? What you want? What you want? What you want? So they emailed me back and the CEO was like, oh my goodness, yes, I just had to know who you were because you came in dressed well. And you were attentive during the whole class. And the funny thing is, he said, well, this was the student that, not the student, I'm sorry. This was the FSU recent grad who sent this and then put the CEO as a CC in it. But he was like, compared to other students, the other students look rough, like they came from a night of partying, and you look well put together and you were attentive during the whole entire presentation. And I just laughed. I said, God, what is happening right now? So then the CEO comes in after I say, oh, thank you guys for the compliment, da, da, da. He emails and he's like, hey, I want to set up a phone interview with you. Gets on phone interview. When I tell you guys, this is how it was God just moving, okay? God placed this in my hand. I didn't know to pray for it, but I just gave God my plans, and I said, God, you do whatever with my life. And God did whatever with my life, okay? So he calls me, he tells me a little bit about the company, da 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 da, this is us, da da, this is who I am, this is where I came from. When I tell you he's a big guy in the insurance industry. Anyway, so then he asked me like a few questions about being an actuary, but I tell him, you know, I don't want to be an actuary. He's like, oh, cool, you know, that's fine. I was like, that's the degree I'm getting. And he was like, oh, so when do you graduate? I'm like, in May. And he's like, how long have you been in college? I said, 4 years. I'm getting out. Okay, I did not intend on staying here any longer than the 4 years that my dad is paying for. And he's like, oh, so you don't have any student loans? And I was like, nope. My dad, I'm fortunate enough for my parents, they saved up money and they pay my tuition, they pay my rent, they pay my everything. I am just living for free because they don't want me to be in debt. They want me to start with a clean slate. And God has blessed me. That was already favor on my life. I walked into this world blessed. I literally came out my mother's womb in God's favor. I don't have any debt. I haven't made a car payment, insurance, nothing. My parents give me everything. And I am grateful, and I don't say this to brag, but I say that God has blessed our family tremendously because my parents are tithers, and their prayers, like they pray. You know, this is real. They give their 10. And God just continues to bless them. I've never wanted for anything. We've never struggled. I've never went a night where I wasn't eating. God has blessed my family tremendously. So all those blessings that my grandpa had, he was a pastor, now my uncle's a pastor, has flowed down through the family. Like God is just the blessings, right? My grandpa passed away, RIP, in 2005, but all those blessings that were on his life that he wasn't able to reap, we're getting them. The grandchildren are getting them. But one detail that I forgot is that before I did the phone interview with him, I wrote a prayer letter out to God. And I said, God, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for how it's taking place. But God, I only want to be on assignment. I don't want to just take any opportunity. So God, if this is an assignment, if this is assigned to my life and you have called me to be here, then I pray the phone interview goes good. And he wants to move forward with hiring me. He's like, okay, well, when is the nearest time you can meet? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna be in South Florida next Friday or next weekend because my friend has a baby shower and I'm attending, so going back home for it. And and he's like, okay, well, I'll book a flight to meet you there. Is that okay? And he's like, because I want to make sure we meet before anybody else finds you and tries to hire you. You guys, I'm in my room like this. And I'm like, God, when I didn't send him a resume, I didn't fill out an application. He doesn't know. I could have a criminal record. I could be out of my mind, but I want to cry because God is so good. He's so good. He's so good. God is so faithful. Anyways, so he basically gives me a position and he's like, I don't know what position you're gonna have. I don't know what I'm interviewing you for, but we're gonna make something work. So we're gonna meet up next Friday. We're gonna talk salary, start date, and benefits that you get out of this job. And we're gonna talk position. So a week goes by. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm like, God, you gave this to me. I don't need to be nervous. So I meet with him for dinner, right? He flies in. You guys, he loved the kid. So anyway, I'm praying during this time, right? And I'm like, God, okay, so my parents want me to be an actuary. And the time that I told them, I let them down, you guys. When I told them I didn't want to be an actuary, I let them down. I know I broke their heart. And it's you feel sad when you know you're disappointing your parents. Obviously, you guys heard already, he moved forward with hiring me. So I said, this is assignment. This is not just an opportunity God gave me. This is an assignment because this is the prayer that I made and God answered my prayer. So Friday comes, we meet up for dinner, and you know, he's telling me more about the company, you guys, like I was saying, I started praying and I said, God, this is the salary that I believe a starting actuary would have, and this is the least I'm willing to accept. This is the least I'm willing to accept. At first I started at $40,000 a year. I was like, if you took $40,000 a year, I'll be ecstatic. But then I said, nah, then I'm not accepting that, right? So anyways, we meet up. He gives me an offer. When I tell you guys, he is $5,000 over what I asked the Lord for. $5,000 with a 20% increase in income. 20% every single year, I get 20% more. And then he starts talking to me about being the president of the company and how they make $50,000 to $1 million a year, and I can have that position. Because he's like, I'm old, you know, I'm gonna pass away, and all these people who are starting entry level are gonna be people to move up. I said, God, you are so good. And basically I told him I just want to learn, and I'm so excited to learn from him, because that it's an honor to work for this man. And I'll be working closely with him. He won't just be one of those CEOs that you don't really get to see. No, I will be working closely with him, and he'll be teaching me what he knows. It's just a blessing in that. Even if I wasn't getting paid as much as he's paying me, it's just a blessing to work with him. So God truly blew my mind. God blessed me with the amount of money that I'm going to be making, with the opportunity, because God knew I didn't want to be an actuary, but I desired to work in the insurance industry. God placed me in, and the good thing about this is I'm going to be on a rotation, so I'm going to be able to learn different parts of the industry while I'm working. I'm giving it back to God because I'm just so grateful. And I'm getting to stay in Florida, which is something that I was also wanted to do. So God literally, these are things that I just didn't really start praying about yet, but God literally just answered things I didn't know I wanted. I didn't know I wanted this position. I didn't know to pray for this position, but God handed me it. He handed me this blessing, and he continues to blow my mind, and I'm so grateful, and I love him, and I love you guys. Thank you for listening to this, because I'm so happy. And I'm just excited for what God is going to do in my life. And I'm excited for my ministry too. I can't wait to come and tell some testimonies about the way that God has moved in you guys' lives. I can't wait to talk to you about that. So I'm going to try to keep up Testimony Tuesdays consistently, but the least I'm going to do is twice a month. Okay, so I love you guys. Go in peace and stay blessed.